Welcome everybody to the 6 p.m. Council meeting of October 18th, 2022. Let the record reflect that all council members are present. I'll ask Councilmember Lopez to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Please consider joining us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Any council members have acknowledgements this evening?
I have an acknowledgement. I was back in town and very excited to attend the Hispanic Festival at the Union Station this past weekend, which Vice Chair Lopez was a big part of, and it was just an amazing event, really wonderful, so I appreciate the council and administration supporting that event. And then I know there was also a really wonderful event at Ben Lomond High School this past weekend prior for Day of the Dead, and we have more celebrations coming up, so I just love that our community is so invested in celebrating this month.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Moving on to items of common consent.
Chair, I make a motion that we adopt the common consent agenda as it is listed on the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Heyer, second by Councilmember Ritchie to adopt the items listed under common consent. This is a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. New business, we'll bring up Warren Hallmark, our very own policy analyst for the City Council office. He'll be presenting on the proposed modifications to the Ogden Youth Council bylaws. Welcome, Warren.
Thank you. Hello. Good evening. Chairman Nadolski has requested I take as long as possible on this specific presentation. So largely, as seen last week in the work session, this is an overview of the proposed program revisions to the Ogden Youth Council program. So going back to October 2020, almost 2 years to the date when the initial resolution was adopted, the purpose of the Youth Council was, as implied, to get the youth involved in city administration, to have them educated in what happens in Ogden's governmental operations, and those initial objectives, purposes, proposed outcomes, nothing is changing there. We're simply proposing some changes to how the structures, the limits of terms, the number of youth we get into Youth Council, and then moving on from what we had referred to as the Leadership Academy. So this is the initial resolution. It's largely for visual purposes only. As I move to the next slide, which will show the three main proposed changes. So the Leadership Academy, we're proposing it goes away, and everything is morphed into the Youth Council itself. Propose that we do away with the limit of only 9 students in the Youth Council, and then they're proposed no more term limits. We initially had a max of 2 terms, but we're proposing that if a high school student wants to be involved all 4 years of their high school career, then they can do so, just like they can student government in high school or on the football team, basketball team, etc. So a more simplified proposal can be seen here. Again, the Youth Council and the Leadership Academy are morphed into the Ogden Youth City Council, consisting of qualified youth from the Ogden community, no limits as far as how many candidates we can have. They may attend any school, but must be a resident of Ogden. No limit of terms. Again, the school year is the term. And then instead of a system or a program, I mean to say, where you apply for the Youth Council and potentially are demoted to the Leadership Academy, not that that was the initial purpose, we're instead taking all applicants to the Youth Council and promoting 7 individuals to a leadership team, which we will refer to as the Ogden Youth City Council. So it's proposed that we have these 7 individuals on the leadership team, the chairperson and the vice chairperson. That's nothing new. That was part of the initial resolution. And then adding the recorder, a treasurer, a public relations officer, a social officer, and a service officer. Again, those 7 individuals consisting of a leadership team. Another objective is that everyone gets involved. So everyone, as part of the Youth Council, if they're not elected to a leadership position, they will be part of a committee. In the Youth Council itself, there will be the social committee and the service committee, initially, and then additionally, we are going to try to find additional opportunities for these youth to serve as liaisons with the various committees and commissions in Ogden as appropriately coordinated between staff members. The youth schedule, as proposed, is they had been getting together once a month. We're going to try to get together twice a month, with the first Wednesday being for a more educational or touring purpose, and then the third Wednesday being more of a social service focus. We will try to get them here probably next month at some point to introduce you to the leadership team, and then they'll provide some goals and some objectives that they want to accomplish over the course of this next year. And in closing, here are some of the goals that they initially threw out. I think the most important one is creating an impact right there in the middle. It's a pretty energetic group so far. We've really enjoyed getting to know them. They want to be involved. They want to create a name for themselves. They want people to know who the Youth Council is, and they're looking to make an impact throughout the Ogden community.
Perfect. Thank you, Warren.
That's it.
Questions for Warren? Okay.
Thank you.
Not bad for a BYU fan.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt proposed resolution 2022-21.
We have a motion by Councilmember Ritchie, second by Councilmember Heyer to adopt proposed resolution 2022-21. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Blair.
Aye.
Councilmember Chaburka.
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Vice Chair Lopez.
Aye.
Chair Nadolski.
Aye. That passes. Thank you, Warren. Good job. Okay. Next on our agenda is public comments. It's your opportunity to address the council on any topic. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name for the record.
My name's Teresa Bramwell. I was here last week to talk to you about my property on 25th and Monroe and the extreme amount of crime that has gone on there for the past few years. The 2 fires that occurred in my home that were caused by homeless people, and the fire that was next door at Topper Bakery, during which the fire department damaged the rear of my building. That was not on fire and did not have damage sustained by the fire. The damage was sustained by the fire department. Today I wanted to let you know where the crime is coming from, since we all are concerned about crime. Over the course of the 25 years that I've owned this property, there didn't used to be this kind of crime. There used to be 2 single-family homes that were next to my property, next to my home. Those were demolished and a Family Dollar was built. The Family Dollar is 60 feet from their property line. So I basically have the dumpsters for Family Dollar that are right outside my bedroom window of my home. The area behind the dumpsters is just an open, vacant area with grass and garbage. The garbage never seems to leave. The garbage comes out of the dumpsters by homeless people that come to get in the dumpsters. So the homeless people coming to get in the dumpsters is probably every single day at the Family Dollar. You could go by there today and look behind the dumpsters and see the vast amount of garbage and drug needles and all of the stuff that has been left there by homeless people. So about half of the crime is caused by homeless people that are attracted to the area by the dumpsters that are not secured at Family Dollar. I don't know that it's Family Dollar's fault as much as it is the homeless people's fault that insist upon being criminals. The other half of the crime is coming from the McGregor Apartments on 25th and Monroe. And again, it never used to be this bad. But recently, there's just a lot of crime that is coming from those apartments. I've had some witnesses to some of the crime that have said the criminals came from those apartments, and I know a couple of people from those apartments have been arrested for crime that has been committed on my property. The second thing I want to talk to you about is this that appeared on my door today. It is an affidavit for administrative search warrant by Ogden City's Code Enforcement Department. On the back page of it, it says, "The city has spoken with Teresa Bramwell, who has withheld consent for an inspection of the property. That is entirely false. I have never been asked for consent to view my property or open up my property for anyone to see it. They broke in without my consent, and then they lied about the fact that they tried to get my consent to enter my property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else care to address the council? Okay, seeing no one else in the chambers, we'll go online to Angel Castillo.
Good evening, Angel Castillo, Ogden resident. Once again, I'd like to thank Brandon for making sure that the technology exists so that you can move from your car to on your phone to your desktop at home so that you can take care of your dogs when you've been gone for an entire day. So I deeply appreciate allowing access when people have real lives. I'd like to lift up a couple of things during the City Council work session. Specifically with regards to the neighborhood grant, I could tell that the City Council is really invested in making sure that we're giving opportunity to bring folks together. And I kind of side with Councilmember Heyer with regards to, it's about people in neighborhoods getting together, and the limit of 50, that's 16 and a quarter families with one kid. So I think maybe the numbers need to be looked at a bit. And I feel that we might be missing a real opportunity for neighborhoods to engage with our police department. If we had bigger parties where they were cordoning off the streets, if we could work in conjunction with OPD, it provides a connection to community, to our law enforcement officers, and maybe we could have OPD taking care of the street closures. And I just think it would be a good idea to connect community and our officers, which is something that we're looking at. With regards to the East Central Community Plan Amendment, I could not be happier. I've been talking about making sure that we have alternate means for smaller homes, and specifically on a transit line. So the cottage home amendment is just fantastic, and I'm very, very excited. And it's a model that actually already exists. I live on the East Bench, but just off of Capitol and Custer, there is a cluster of very small homes on a larger piece of property, and I think that's a model that's going to work really well for us. With regards to the proposed rezone to 7th Street, I am adamantly in agreement with Councilmember Heyer and Councilmember Ritchie. We should not just be completely rezoning something without knowing what's going to be there, as we do not have current and specific form-based code, which means buildings are compatible with the surroundings, and we don't have a very specific palette of materials or colors. And if we want to preserve the quality of our residential neighborhoods, I think it's very important that we have continuity and that those buildings that are going in there are form-based. They are appropriate, and the use may vary. And until we get to the point where we actually amend the plan top to bottom, I'm suggesting that we go with a conditional overlay. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you, Angel. Excuse me. Seeing no other hands raised, we'll go to the mayor for comments.
Nothing to add. Thank you very much.
Okay, council members.
Chair, one of the things that slipped my mind during the work session about our neighbor up grants, and I am currently enrolled in the Citizens Police Academy, and had a chance to talk with Diana Lopez about our neighbor up grants, and she was saying that they look for every opportunity to engage with our citizens, and I mentioned this, and so I've talked with Janine a little bit about this, of letting the police know when and where these are scheduled to be held, so that the community policing can attend, and I think that's a great idea. I think it serves a lot of, a double purpose, so great idea, I think, so.
Thanks. I think inquiring minds want to know if you're going to volunteer to be tased.
I actually declined, thank you.
I got tased. People were lining up to do it for some reason. Okay. Any other council members? Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Councilmember Hyer, second by Councilmember Jaberka to adjourn. This is a voiced vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, see you guys next week. Thanks, everyone.